Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of our Last of Us Rewatch podcast. I am Phil,
I'm Joe.
and as always, we will be spoiler filled for this episode, episode 7, and episodes throughout the first season and the first game. So if you have not watched or played The Last of Us, um, unless you want to hear spoilers before you play or watch the show slash game, feel free to watch. But otherwise, go do that first and then come back here.
Has there ever been a show that you've watched where you were glad it was spoiled for you? Like,
Never.
never,
Never.
never, not once. I'll say this quickly, but I was watching through Ahsoka on Disney Plus week to week as it was coming out. And by episode 3, I was like, I don't really know who these characters from the Rebels show are. And I kind of don't know what's going on. And I felt like I wasn't appreciating it. So I would start watching like the breakdown videos before the show. And it really saved that show for me, I think. So
Yeah, I was just like confused throughout the entire series because I've not seen any of the animated Star Wars stuff. So like Rebels or Clone Wars or whatever. And I was like, I'm just gonna be along for the ride. I don't know what's going on here, but
I'm just going to roll with it. Yeah. Well, we get to roll with that for a whole other season. But we're not here to talk about lightsabers or characters that we barely know.
yes,
We're here to talk
about episode 7, Left Behind.
featuring characters we barely know. And no lightsabers, just characters we barely know.
I don't
Are there any lightsabers? There's
I don't
neon.
know. I did not pay attention to a specific scene where there might be a lightsaber, but we can get to that one. We'll talk about
shout
the
that out
episode.
once we get to that part of the episode chronologically. This one starts in the suburbs. There's a horse in a house. I was thrilled with that. Just a horse standing in a house. It wasn't the garage, right? It was the house. And he just presumably right through the front door. Ellie's just like, here, you wait here. She and Joel are in the basement of the house, and they're dealing with the injuries that he got last week. He's in pain. He's awake, which is better than the state he was in last week. So that's great. But he says to Ellie, leave, go, get out of here, go to Tommy. Take the gun, you go. And she stands up and she's considering it. Not in a way where it's like, yeah, that sounds great. But like she's afraid and she thinks about going. She runs up the stairs and she pauses at the door. Flashback. We are now back to young Ellie running. She's running in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
They're doing laps around a basketball court.
So I will say, like, young Ellie, as it probably like, at this point, she's probably like almost a year younger because I think the whole season takes place, at least the game takes place across the span of like a year. So like I'm assuming the TV show also takes place in the span of a year. So because we find out that this flashback is not too much longer like prior to the first episode of the show.
Right. And this is a critical day or weekend for Ellie. Like several things we know about her happened on this day. It's a big day. She's having a big day. It starts off with her running, listening to the Walkman, listening to an Eddie Vedder song or a Pearl Jam song.
Yes.
Okay. Is this the song that is important in the game?
I think it's a different song, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah.
That's fair. Her musical taste is strange. She's all over the place. Well, we will find that out as we go. So Bethany, everyone loves Bethany. She's the best. She steals the Walkman and they get into a fight. And she says, you don't have your friend here to protect you. And Ellie then steps up and hurts Bethany.
My favorite part of that is Bethany's reaction, because I think like Bethany like start talking to Ellie about how like you don't have your friend to protect you. I think she does mention something about like her not coming back, and then
Yeah.
something like that. And like I think you see Ellie's reaction first, and then you see Bethany's reaction, and like her face reads as, "Oh shit, I fucked up."
What have I done? What
Yeah,
have I unleashed
and
upon me?
you don't actually see the punch that Ellie throws, because I think like right immediately after that it cuts to her in the
The principal's
captain's
office or
office.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah. I- But I got the impression that she was happy to have a protector before this point. Like she was like Bethany wasn't afraid of Ellie because Ellie never caused that kind of trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Is that yeah? That was my reading anyway. So she goes to the principal's office and he says, "What's going on with you?" And he basically he's like, you're screwing up your life. There are two paths you can take. The first path is you eat shit and you just things are terrible and eventually you'll die on a wall or you'll take orders from everybody and all this stuff, or you could become a leader. And he's really encouraging her to live up to her potential like any good teacher would.
yeah.
um yeah, I mean, it's what he should be doing, especially since he believes in their cause. um and he sees her as a leader and he says, which way? And he had used keys to represent the path to leadership,
Leadership.
the good choice.
Yeah.
And she says keys. What's this like in the game? Are the keys represented? What's
So
the
as far as I remember,
choices?
like this isn't actually, this part of it is not in the game. And like in the last episode, the last podcast episode, we talked about how this part of the game or part of the show was downloadable content for the games.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like this was not part of the main narrative of the games. You had to pay an extra, like I want to say it was like 20 bucks or something like that. And you would get like a whole other like story campaign, much shorter, but like so this narrative was separate from the Joel and Ellie narrative.
Did you play that?
I did. Um, I remember it less than the main game,
Sure.
but I do remember some things from the downloadable content. Also called Left Behind, by the way. That's where
Oh,
the
okay, cool.
that's where the title comes from.
So Bethany's the worst, though. Fuck Bethany, right? We then are in Ellie's room, and they scan the room, showing different things she has, and one of them was like tape cassettes that she uses in her Walkman, obviously. And the only one I could make out just as I was watching was Aha's greatest hits,
Yeah,
like "Take on Me," Aha,
yeah.
greatest
I mean,
hits.
obviously, is it a tape of one song?
Right, well, yeah, it's one song 10 times. Like they have its greatest hit. They don't have other songs. It's like, I mean, I'm sure they have other songs and that they're fine, but no one's no one's no one's listening to those songs.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but Ellie. But I guess if the world ended, you wouldn't know. You'd just be
So
like,
do you,
here's another tape.
so do you think it's those tapes where Ellie was like, I like these songs or I like this music, or it's Ellie saying, this is the music I have available to me?
It's like when we were little and there weren't you couldn't watch anything that you wanted to. It wasn't at your fingertips. You just had to watch what was on,
Yeah.
the four channels. So yeah, she's like, I guess I'm gonna listen to this tape today. She's got 8 tapes and that's it. So then window watch, uh, something comes through the window and attacks her, and it turns out to be Riley. Will you tell us about Riley?
So yeah, Riley is Ellie's roommate and best friend, and we find out a little bit later, crush. Um, so yeah, at that point in the story, Riley has disappeared um, from Ellie's life slash room, and like we don't know where Riley has been, and neither is Ellie, which is why I think maybe she's a little bit like wound up about that. So when
Sure.
Bethany tried her, uh, Ellie, you know, took the opportunity to.
Yeah. So she confronts her about it, and Riley says that she just ran away for a bit. No big deal. um, Ellie pulls out of her that she has joined the Fireflies. Where are they? They say later that they're in Boston, right? Like they're
Yeah, they're
in
they're in
that
the
same
Boston
area.
QZ. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then she says, "Come with me. I want to take you somewhere." And Ellie is hesitant, but Riley says, "You trust me, right?" Just like Joel did in was it the last? It was 2 episodes ago. Um, which is great. Makes me want to go back and watch that moment and see if there was a twinkle in Ellie's eye of uh of tying it back to Riley. Um, and then I just have in these notes here, fuck Carol. Do you remember Carol?
I don't remember that moment. If I had to guess, I my guess is it would have to be um like the person who like makes sure that they're in bed or whatnot. But I don't know that
Oh
for sure.
no,
Like
no, no,
I
no.
don't remember that moment. You wrote it down. Like
Yeah.
it stood out enough for you to write a note about it.
Well, I was very much on the fuck Bethany bandwagon. So when it was fuck Carol time, I was like, yeah, fuck Carol. Carol was the person that Riley had beaten up, and the last time that got her thrown
Oh,
into, yeah. So yeah,
okay.
and so Riley's like, that's different. Blah 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 blah. Also, fuck Carol. So fuck Carol and fuck Bethany. The note stands. She says, "Where are we going?" And what do? They go through a window. Window watch
Oh no.
continues. We're only like 7 minutes into this episode, and there's 2 window watch moments. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's almost like in this episode, the windows up until this point, people just look through windows or crash through windows. They're climbing through these windows. It's like being taken into a whole other world. I love it. This is a huge episode for window watch, even though spoilers, no more windows. We get 2 right up front, and that's it. Um, okay. Oh, they they climb 7 floors in this building. It's weird. Like Riley really takes her on a journey. I mean, I guess it makes sense. You don't want her to be like, "Hey, come with me." Oh, look, we're at the place we're gonna
Yeah.
be. No,
Let's go 3 blocks west.
yeah. They climb up 7 flights of stairs and they confront a dead body. There's a body there. It has booze, which is great. But then it was strange. The body just falls through the floor. Like, right? Like, what happened
Yeah.
there?
So like my read of that was like that building's not 100% structurally sound, and like he had been sitting there for a while, probably like rotting and whatnot, and like the weight of him like constantly on that like caused it to collapse, and like there may have been like damage to that building.
He was not there that long because they made it sound like it was an OD because he
Yeah,
wasn't like fungus. When they go up the stairs, Ellie says to Riley, "Oh, is that a dead body?" And she's like, "Yeah, but he wasn't here yesterday." Riley's been scouting the area. Riley really knows the territory, but this dead body's here. I wonder if I'm missing something. And when he crashed through the floor, I was like, "What the hell is going on?" It was also super dark. I couldn't see everything, so I was a little frustrated and eager for them to get to the meat of this story. They drink the booze. Riley lets Ellie hold the gun. It's a huge day. It's a
yeah.
huge day for Ellie, who is a gun freak and very curious about alcohol.
I mean, so like I'm assuming that this is her first taste of alcohol, and like I think it's interesting that like when she tries it the second time, she says still gross, but like the first time she tries it with Riley, she doesn't say anything. Like I think she's definitely trying to like pretend to be cool with it.
She's playing it cool. Yeah, I agree. I agree. She wants to look like she's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this old thing, no problem.
this
I got
this
this.
doesn't burn everything.
Yeah. Riley tells a story about how she kind of got recruited by the Fireflies. Like they were watching her sneak around. They're like, "Hey, I like your moves. I like your stuff. Come join us if you want to." Um, which is great. It sort of opens the door for Ellie and Riley to sort of butt heads on which is the better path. Staying with Fedra, who are, I think, the quote is something like they're D-bags, but they're kind of holding everything together versus going with the Fireflies, who are, you know, um,
Yeah,
trying to take down the authority figures.
Yeah, and
And
I
they have
think
like
we like
political conversations about it. And we see a different side of Ellie that we haven't seen before. She's still like in the mindset that Fedra is the way.
yeah, and I think we see from previous episodes, the Kansas City episodes, like there was something to that in that like even as terrible as that Fedra was in Kansas City, like they were making sure that the streets were clean and like clean in terms of affected, not like because that place was pretty dirty. But like the infected that they driven underground and whatnot, like they were doing something even though they were terrible. So like I did enjoy the fact that they presented both the Fireflies and Fedra in kind of like equal lights.
Sure. It's not black and white. It's not good and
Yeah.
bad. It's but there's terrible things on both sides. Oh, she doesn't say D bags. She says dick bags. She really she really leans into it. Again, they travel some more. There's a roof jumping montage.
So the
But
roof
then they find
jumping like
okay,
that
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I haven't been to Boston in a while, but like how close are those buildings together? Like
that's
it's
true.
because
Those
like yeah, like
those are all
generally like
old
there are like
buildings too. Like
alleyways, like at least enough for a person to like walk through. But
sure,
like they were just like
yeah,
easily like jumping across.
yeah, that does seem a little strange. It in New York, alleys are gone. There are like if you watch a movie about New York, everyone's like, "Hey, I'll meet you in the alley," and this and that. There are no alleys. People filled them up with like thinner buildings because property is property, and you got to make the most of it. But yeah, in Boston, it's not like they're still like keeping it charming, keeping it old. But yeah, I didn't even think about it as they were jumping around, but it's those buildings are far apart and they're pre-colonial.
Yeah.
Like these are old houses, like loose shingles. I don't know. There must be a part of Boston that's new condos. I'll check the 2003 maps and see what looks good. Do you jump on the rooftops in the game?
I don't actually recall, but like
That could be a cool scene in a game.
yeah, I mean, and thinking back to episode 2, like after Joel, Tess, and Ellie escape the museum, they have to walk across like a plank to get to the across to the other
Right.
building. Like, so I don't know
Yeah.
what part of Boston they're in, but those
I
buildings are further apart.
I don't know. Maybe we should write a letter to complain. They arrive at their destination. Riley turns on the power switch, and it's a mall, like a good mall too. It looks like I saw GameStop, I saw Best Buy, I saw CVS. What more do you want? It's a very 2001, 2003 mall.
Was there also I think Jamba Juice?
Oh yeah, yeah. All everything you would want from a mall. I actually didn't see an Annie Ann's or I mean there was like a Build-A-Bear place, whatever. It's a really good looking mall. They did a great
So
job.
there is an Easter egg while they're traveling through the mall from the game.
Nice.
They pass by like one of those like stands where it's like the map and whatever in the mall, and on one of them is a poster for a movie called I think Dawn of the Wolf.
Yes, Dawn of the Wolf. I wrote that down too because I was like, because they also pass a movie theater and the way it's staged, you can't see what movies are playing. Because I was like, what do we got? What's playing? But then they do walk past a poster that says, and I was like, Dawn of the Wolf. Is this a Twilight like
It is, yeah, it
thing?
is their
Okay,
version of Twilight in this world.
so
In the
funny.
game, you actually I think you pass by you definitely pass by a at least one of those posters in the main game, and like Joel and Ellie talk about it a little bit. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, it is a Twilight type movie with werewolves instead of vampires. Although I'm sure in the sequels they fight vampires.
There are werewolves in Twilight as well.
But
Vampires
I'm
and
saying
werewolves
it's
together.
focused on the werewolves, not the vampires. It's like
Oh, that sounds lame. I'm out. I'm out. Dawn of the Wolf, they go to Victoria's Secret, and I feel like there's a couple times up to this point where we have seen that Ellie is obviously crushing hard on Riley. but even more so maybe in this Victoria's Secret scene where she sort of pictures her, like Riley says, I'm trying to imagine you in one of those. And, and Ellie's like, trying to, like, they're both trying to, like, imagine what that world was like. The Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret world.
And I think it's like interesting, like because they have this conversation about like why are some stores empty but others are not. Like they're like, why'd they steal all the sneakers but not any of the soap? But like it kind of speaks to like how they can't really imagine what the prior world was like, because like
Yeah.
in their world, like soap is a basic necessity and like it would be in short supply, whereas sneakers, like, do you really need a bunch of sneakers?
I mean, everyone needs a good pair of shoes, but not
Yeah, but how
like
many? Like, you're not gonna like be stealing that, but you don't steal the soap.
someone stealing it and like for his collection, like to
Yeah,
like display it in a glass case. Uh, I would have a soap collection. I'd be like, I need a Dove and I need Ivory. Give me all the soaps. They, they talked a little bit about the looting that would happen and how, I mean, the mall is in bad shape. Like it's all wrecked and everything and looted.
yeah.
But there's later on, they go to a change machine, like put in $1, get 4 quarters, and they open it up and it's full of quarters. And I was like, if this place was looted, wouldn't they have busted that open to get the money out? But
Well, yeah.
good.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you were saying earlier about how they were choosy about what they looted,
Yeah,
maybe almost immediately people are like, money's worthless. Like, we don't worry about money. We got to worry about shoes.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, perhaps that people like realized that like currency was going to be useless, but also the fact
Yeah,
that Riley said it took her an hour to break that thing open.
that's true. That's true. She spent an hour busting that thing open. Uh, I feel like there has to be a key in the back where she could just like open it, or like you have free reign of the whole place. Uh, this introduces a great device for storytelling in this world, or storytelling anywhere really. But she says, I want to show you the 4 wonders of the mall. And instantly I was excited. I was like, I also want to see the 4 wonders of the mall. Like, what's it going to be? And the first one,
The first one is
technically,
not actually like on Riley's list, because it is the
exactly,
escalator, or the what does Ellie call them?
stairs, which is a great first one because it shows the viewer like how much we take for granted and how I can still remember how cool it is to be on an escalator and be like, oh, this is awesome. Or like
Yeah,
when you go to the airport and they have those movable walkways. It's like, yeah, like I don't see this all the time. That's totally cool. But to see it for the first time and have no idea and not expect it, and like it really starts off this whole section with like wonder and amazement, and I loved that. I thought that was really cool. So that's number one. Number two is the carousel. This has got to be in the game, right?
I think it is. Yeah. I don't think the song it's playing is in the game though.
All right, the song is Just Like Heaven, and we talked a little
Yeah,
bit in a past episode about how music rights might have been a problem because the game was unproven because it was the
yeah.
first game, and to get something like even the Muzak version of just like of the Cure's Just Like Heaven would be insane. What what I would just point out is that um, even before this, we see them running around the mall a little bit, and the song that plays while they're running around is Take on Me by Aha, which is a great like running around having fun song. But
Yeah.
in the carousel scene, they picked a Cure song because Aha doesn't have 2 good songs.
A second
If
song, period.
yeah, this is proof. This is this is proof that you know that that tape is useless. Because if they did have a second good song,
That
it would have
that
been
one
there.
song is really good. It's a lot of
It's
fun.
really good. It is honestly, it's worth a $10 purchase, like which is what the tape probably cost when it first came out. But it's that's it. And it was on the radio all the time anyway. No one's like itching to hear "Take on Me." It's on all the time. At this point, Riley reveals that she's aging out of the Fedra system, like she's about to turn 18, and at 18 they give you your assignments.
Yeah.
And do you remember what she pulls?
She's essentially a janitor, I think.
I well, she says sewage. She's on sewage duty, and I don't know if it was cleaning up as much as like being around it or just watching people protect it. I don't know what she says exactly, but I remember when she described the job, I was like, "Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be." Like it's
I
not
mean,
like
it is literally what the captain described earlier as a shit job.
yeah, it's that's the path you don't want to go is
Yeah.
to take on sewage duty. Um, and that's part of the reason that she decided to run away originally. I had at this point wondered how long she had been gone. Any guess based on any educated guess?
I think they mentioned it has been like at least a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that.
And Riley then admits that the one thing she does miss is Ellie. And this is another moment where Riley looks away and Ellie's like, "Ew," like full on crush, like she's totally into it.
Yeah.
Then they go to uh uh sorry. Then they go to the third of the five wonders, four or
Yeah.
five wonders, whatever it is. They go to the third one, which is a photo booth that Ellie misidentifies as a time machine. She must have been joking, right?
I
But
mean, I hope so, because like
yeah.
if Riley found a time machine, I mean, like just go back to 2002, maybe.
It can only go back as far as the beginning of the outbreak, and it can't go forward. So it is a useless pile of crap. They go in the photo booth and they cost $5. I noted, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good actually." I think I did my daughter and her friend. I paid for their photo booth experience maybe a year ago, and I think it was in the $7 or $8 range. It was not. I don't know, but
Like
this is 20 years later, so
the the only problem I have with like a $7 or $8 like photo booth experience is that like you need a five and then singles. Like,
right. Well, well, not in this world. You can just use your credit card or tap your watch or
I guess.
blink at it
Yeah.
in a special way. I don't know. The future is changing. They take their photos and they do different poses. I liked the back-to-back one. I thought
Yeah.
that was my favorite. This is a really charming part. Like they're totally cute with each other. It's great. And one of the pictures comes out, and do we see this photo later or earlier in the series? Like, does
Hell,
Ellie ever show this
as
to
far as I can
Joel or
remember,
look at it?
I don't think we see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, this section is in the game though, like the photo booth. And you control it. Like you decide their faces.
Sweet. What did you pick? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but there. I mean,
You're
it's
like
like the photo booth in the show. Like it is multiple like faces, so you can do a bunch of them.
you're like all middle fingers the whole time. They're just like. Then number 4 on the list of wonders is Raja's Arcade. And then I have here my notes. Why would there still be quarters there? But we've covered that. Uh, and then I thought the way I was looking at it, like if I went there, I wouldn't have taken the quarters. I would have taken one of the machines though. Like I wouldn't have wanted
Yeah,
the money, but like I would have wanted Dig Dug or whatever in my house. Like not even thinking like, oh, I'm never gonna get this home. I'm not even gonna get it down the street. But it would be awesome because like 20 years later, Joel and Ellie would walk by and they'd be like, why is there a Dig Dug machine halfway down the block? It's because Joe tried to steal it
and
during the
we've talked about
looting.
this before, like outside of these conversations. But like growing up, watching Silver Spoons, if anybody remembers that
Silver
show,
spoons. Yeah.
um, like the kid was rich and he had like he had an arcade in his house and a train, I think, that like he rode
Yeah.
on.
Sure.
And it was always the dream. One of like I always like wanted an arcade machine. And I like a few times in my life I've actually looked up like, oh, how much does this machine cost, or like how and now they have the arcade one
The-
up machines
yeah.
that like there's
Which has
smaller
made it
versions of them.
they're expensive still, but it's still it is wildly more affordable and realistic to get one.
Yeah,
It makes
they're
sense.
definitely more affordable than the full size arcade machines. Although I haven't checked the prices lately, but like as I've gotten older, I think to myself, one, where am I going to put it?
Where's it gonna go? And thankfully, the one-up machines are smaller. They're like thinner, like
Yeah,
and everything, which is great. But yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, I mean, it could go over there, but no,
yeah.
then that's in the way. Like just like there's just no place to put it.
But also, two is like, would I even play it? Because I have and I think everybody who is a gamer like has this problem where like you've just bought games because they were on sale. You're like, oh, I'll play this eventually, and then you never do.
Well, I'll follow that up with another question, if you don't mind. Did you ever see Ricky Schroeder, Alfonso Ribeiro, or Jason Bateman playing those games on Silver Spoons? The answer is no. They were just
Yeah.
there. They were there to show off how rich they were. And now everyone's got one. It's sad, really. Rogers Arcade looked like a pretty sweet spot, and it made me realize, it made me start to question, like, when did arcades start to disappear from malls? Because I feel like it was one of the first things to disappear from malls.
Yeah. So when we used to see movies pretty often, like they're like pretty close to me was a place called uh, Funscape. I want to say is the name, which was
It was fun, and it was like an escape from reality. So it
yeah.
checks.
Um, I was thinking that and Exhilarama. I think Exhilarama was in Jersey, but Funscape
It was. So
is in Delaware. So it was like a movie theater, and like there was a huge arcade. There's a
that's great.
roller coaster in there at one point, laser tag,
No
all
one
kinds of
ever
stuff.
rode that. Yeah, ride at your own risk.
But I definitely remember like going there in the early 2000s and that arcade still being there. So 2003, if the world fell then, like I could see arcades still being around then.
Yeah, and malls would still be thriving too, because it seems
Yeah.
like it seems silly to if the spore outbreak happened in 2025 and then they were like we went to a mall and it's like, oh, this looks unchanged, that Sbarro's is still open and that's it. um so as they're having fun in the arcade, it pulls back and we see that there is a infected person in there, and Riley had assured her there were none, but he's really in there. He's like he's one with the mall.
Yeah.
Like he's sort of
He,
like his like little roots have really dug in.
he's a little like the guy or the infected that we saw that was dead in episode 1, I think.
Yeah,
Tess spots him.
yeah.
But this one is juicier, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's that is the exact word I would use to describe it. He's the juiciest. What could you tell what store was he in? Was it like a I want to say it was like a Build-A-Bear type place, or was he in the Halloween store that they visit later?
I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't paying too much attention to like his
Okay.
surroundings
Because can you imagine being trapped forever for
in a
20
Build-A-Bear
years
workshop.
in a Build-A-Bear workshop? I mean, you'd save some money. You'd have the best Build-A-Wares in town, but oh my God. So they're at they reveal that. Oh, Ellie says it's getting late. She's got to get back to Fedra camp.
Your school.
um, right, Fedra school. But Riley says, I got you a gift. She get Ellie's got some guesses. Do you remember any of them?
Um,
I had to rewind it because I wanted to write them all down. There's only four, but it's just funny. It's maybe funnier just because the way she's so excited about it possibly being a spider, a new shirt because she's tired of that ringer, a water pistol, or a dinosaur. She's really all in on the dinosaur. None of those. They go to Macho Nacho. She thinks it might be tacos, but in the back of Macho Nacho, we find out that Riley has been sleeping here, and she has the Pun Book Volume 2.
Volume 2. Yes,
Volume 2. I didn't write the puns down, but they read, I think, 3.
something like
And
that. Yeah.
there was the first one, I was like, oh, I should have written it down because it, the first one required the person to, oh, it was, what does a cannibal say when, I don't know, he throws up his hands was the thing. But it would
Yeah.
require the reader to know that throw up your hand means give up. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's not a turn of phrase that would make it 20 years into an apocalypse. Like, I was like, oh, it's weird that both of these young girls knew that. And then they read another one and they laugh. And then they read a third one and they're like, I don't know what a screenshot is. It references
Yeah.
computers and screenshots. And then I was like, okay, at least they're not, at least they're acknowledging that, like,
Yeah.
it's not normal. There's gonna be stuff they don't know.
Yeah. Like they've probably never used a computer because like um I mean honestly like it would be a computer without the internet, which is what most people use computers for now. Um, what are they going to do? Spreadsheets?
Yeah. I'm gonna make a list of reasons that I want to leave this terrible world. Riley, we find out, is leaving because Ellie finds a bunch of bombs that she's made, which, I mean, just signifies how deep she is into the Fireflies. She's leaving and she wants Ellie to come with her. Ellie, you know, they kind of fight with each other. It's not going well.
Yeah.
Riley takes
Um,
off and Ellie chases her and they get to the fifth wonder.
so I will say that Riley mentions that she asked the Fireflies if Ellie could come with her.
Mhm.
And she says Marlene says no. Marlene said no. Um, so we don't know this yet, but Marlene has a connection with Ellie, and I can't. I'm trying to remember back to the first episode because like um, at this point, like Ellie isn't special in that she like nobody knows she's immune from the fungus, so it's not special because of that. That's not why Marlene would say no to Ellie leaving. Um,
But we'll get another flashback in the season that will reveal their
yeah,
connection.
why? Yeah.
Is that the next episode, you think?
No, it's two episodes, I believe.
It's only a couple episodes left. Now, the fifth wonder of them all, the final one, is the spirit. It's like a spirit Halloween, or it's just a
Yeah.
Halloween shop. It's like a, yeah. And
So
it's
I will
great.
say that this tracks with the timeline of the downfall, like the outbreak, because the outbreak takes
Sure.
place. I want to say September 26th or 23rd, something like that. Um, so like it would have been when a spirit Halloween store was open because people are buying Halloween costumes around that time.
Can you imagine? Spirit Halloween wins out because their stores are now open forever. Just not collecting money or bringing in new goods. So don't go through it. So they're celebrating. They're enjoying it, the space, and Riley takes the music and she listens to the Walkman and she's like, "This sucks. This music sucks." And I was like, "Oh, is it an Aha song? Like, what's on the tape that we can't hear? Or maybe it's the end of that Pearl Jam song. Who knows?" But she puts on "I've Got You, Babe," the Etta James cover, which sounds great, and they continue partying. They have fun. It's great. Uh, oh, and then there's the whole like, "Don't go," Riley says. Ellie says okay, and then they kiss, and she finds out that Riley has just as big a crush on her as Ellie has on Riley, which is wonderful. What's that
It's the
moment
best.
like in the game?
It's the best day of her life. It's
It's
the
the
best day
best day,
both of their lives, both of their lives.
right? We didn't even talk about the games they play. They really did,
Yeah.
like, in the, like, I mean, there's the booze, there's the guns, there's the kiss, but then there's the Mortal Kombat finisher. Nail the first time you nail a Mortal Kombat finisher, it's
Yeah.
really special.
Like I don't because thinking back on like when playing Mortal Kombat for the first time, like trying to remember what those fatalities are, like what is the combination of buttons and like joystick whatever to like
Yeah,
get those, and the spacing has to be correct. Like
yeah.
it is not easy the first time around.
And you're doing it in an arcade where money is on the line. Like, it's not like at home where you can just like jam the buttons as many times as you need to. You're like, you know, that's 25 cents. It's going to be gone if you don't nail this. There's a noise and Riley says, "Get ready to run." And she ends up shooting He's just a normal infected dude that
Yeah.
runs at them. There's a they go back and forth. Ellie ends up stabbing him in the head, and when I saw that, I thought this was. We were talking a little bit about this before the show, but I thought that this clicker that she kills, or this infected that she kills, was the one kill she was referencing. I mean, it's not as emotional as what her first kill could have been, but it counts, right? Like, or did they have that conversation with Joel when they were talking about killing human beings as opposed to infected?
So I'm trying to think back to that episode now. This is the first Kansas City episode, um, and like I don't know the specific wording, and I wish I did because is it's the first person that you've killed or the first person that you've shot?
Oh, okay. I think it's. I think they. I don't know.
Because he like Ellie doesn't kill that guy in Kansas City. He
Right.
shoots him or she shoots him.
Right. She shoots him in the side. I I didn't get a clear view of that, so I always imagined she shot him right in the butt, which I think is funnier. And he's all like, "All right, the fight's over. Ah, my butt." um, yeah, I see. When she kills this infected, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if that's her first kill." But the way she's so emotional about it when Joel tries to bring the subject back up and she shuts it down and doesn't want anything to do with it, it has to be something that has more of a personal connection, right? Like it's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't. But it's unconfirmed, and we're getting to that. But um, so the fight ends. The infected is dead, and it's revealed that they have both been bitten.
Yeah. So one of my favorite moments of that sequence is like when Ellie finds out that she's bit, she looks down at the arm, she tries to wipe it off, like as if it were like, oh, like it's just blood, like
Yeah,
it's not an actual bite, and like she tries to do it, and like
that's
she
true.
freaks out.
Yeah, and then Riley, well, Ellie's bit here on the arm, just on the forearm, because we've seen that scar the whole time. Riley's bit on her, like
Hand, yeah,
like the webbing in between the thumb
yeah,
and the. And
the pointer
when
finger.
I saw that, when she holds it up, but yeah, like her gun, has a gun shooting hand too. Oh boy, she'll never shoot the gun the same way again. Um, when I saw that though, I was like, find an axe. Let's cut off some limbs, right? Like she could just cut it right at the wrist, and she could have a cool story to tell. How fast do you think the disease spreads? Like,
Well, I
is
mean,
that possible?
we know from episode 2, like Tess like succumbs pretty quickly to
Yeah,
the infection. So like, and I don't know if it's ever been talked about like amputating. There, that's the word I'm looking for.
amputizing,
Amputating,
amputizing.
amputating like a part of you to stop the infection from like spreading out. So I don't know if it's been discussed, like if that is a thing that exists in this world,
It
and
should.
if and maybe it's just that they're young and they like didn't think of it. They were
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like freaked out about it.
They're teenagers. I say that with hindsight and being an old man, but like if that happened to me when I was their age, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been able to cut somebody's arm off. You would have been screaming at
Yeah.
me, just right here, just cut it right here. And I'd be like, no, no, man.
What about
Couldn't do it.
this?
So now we cut back to Joel. It cuts back to Joel. Uh, Ellie's at the door and she has decided that she is not going to leave. And she starts searching for something. Then we cut back to the mall. Ellie's smashing up the Halloween store.
She's
She's
going nuts
pissed.
on that display case.
Yeah, she's like, no more displays.
She's like E Honda, and that display case is a car.
God. Hi. She's really taking it down. It's great. Um, and Riley is sort of just like, she's already moved on to the next stage of grief.
Well, like they have like complete opposite reactions to
Yeah.
getting bit. Like Ellie is like violent and she's like acting out, and like Riley just kind of withdraws and like doesn't doesn't outwardly react like Ellie is doing.
Yeah. Once Ellie sort of joins her and they calm down a little, she calms down a little bit. Riley hits her with the two options. You can take the easy way out, which they don't name, but is obviously, putting
Yeah.
themselves out of their misery before they turn into monsters. And then the other option is we just keep going, which they also leave ambiguous. It's like, you keep going doing what? Like, do you, you try, you hope for the best, or, I mean, it's what we're all doing in life, right? Like, we just got to keep going. But I think part of her still knows that, like, she's going to turn in before the day is over, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah. So I think like to me like just keep going is kind of like stay together for as long as they have, like whatever time
Yeah.
that is. Like whenever they turn, like, and she says something about like let's be all poetic and shit and lose our minds together, which is like a very like
Yeah.
I feel like a very young idea. Like
Sure.
it is like wouldn't it be cool if like we were just infected together, we would be infected couple.
Yeah. When I die, I want to die together in a plane crash, in a zombie apocalypse. Then it cuts back to Joel, and we do not cut back at later to the girls. It's just sort of left like, what happens? We know what happens to Ellie. Hooks up with the Fireflies, and they believe that she's immune. And then soon after, she meets Joel. Riley is still. It's unclear what happened, but I mean, we can assume that Riley turns first, and Ellie has to kill Riley. I mean,
Well, I mean,
Riley turns first because Ellie doesn't turn at all.
yeah, basically, yeah. And I like my like, and I don't know if this is actually mentioned in the game or in the show, but like, so my like my headcanon of this is that the Fireflies find Ellie because like Riley was supposed to leave the next day, so like the Fireflies are probably coming to get her anyway, and they find Ellie there bitten, and presumably Riley bitten and turned. So that's why they grab Ellie.
So, do you see what happens to Riley in that moment? Like her fate? No
I
spoilers.
don't think I don't think you do. Like this is I don't as far as I can remember, this part is not in the game.
Oh,
So
okay,
like
okay.
it was just my speculation that like that's how, like, it's not like Ellie went to the Fireflies, because why would she do that? And she's not going back to Fedra. So like I think the Fireflies happen upon her because Riley was supposed to leave.
Perfect. That's good. It totally makes sense. So we are back with Joel, and Ellie finds what she's looking for. Turns out to be a needle and thread. She runs back to the basement, and she just keeps going. She keeps it going, and she sort of sews him up. It's kind of a beautiful ending because she's really motivated and focused. And then the credits come up, and what song plays? Take on Me by Aha. No, it doesn't play because they don't have another song that they could play, and they couldn't afford to play it twice because no one should have an Aha greatest hits tape. That's ridiculous.
If they just play, if they save their one play for the end, like have
Yeah.
as Ellie's sewing up Joel, play Take on Me, and just roll on into the credits. Just
Yeah.
like
What if as she's doing it, she's like do 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 do. All right. That's the end of the episode. Before we move on to a few questions, what do you think of this episode overall?
I think it was good. Like it like um I was wondering like if they were gonna tell this story, because um again, thinking about like how long the game is versus like what episodes we have in the
Yeah.
show. Like in my mind, like before watching the show at all, I was like, how are they going to fit like the first game into one season of television? And they did, because they cut out all the gameplay stuff, because you don't really need to see that anyway. Um, but I'm glad they put this in, because it informs so much of like Ellie's backstory
It's
that we
amazing.
wouldn't have gotten to see any either way. Like if this episode wasn't there.
I love it. Yeah, it's so good. And you've been talking about how the game and the show are like there's representation of a series of couples. Like we had uh, Frank and uh, Bill,
Bill.
and we had Henry and Sam. And then who is Ellie's other? Is it Joel or is it Riley or is it both at different times?
So I think it like um I think in this, at least in the flashbacks, it is Ellie and Riley. Um, like Ellie and Joel are like, so I think the show and the game are kind of showing you like what could happen to these couples. So like
Sure.
um in the show, Bill and Frank, they live out their lives, um and they die of old age basically. I mean, not putting aside the fact that they killed themselves when they were old, but like they went out on their own terms basically.
Sure.
um then you get to someone like Henry and Sam, where like um Henry has failed to protect Sam, and like they meet a tragic end.
Yeah.
um so it's showing like potential futures for Joel and Ellie. And I would also mention the couple in the hut,
Oh,
the in
of
the
course.
winter,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wish I knew their names as,
I
at
don't
all,
I
but
don't actually
they're
know
great.
if they were named in that episode, but
No. Oh, I called Trapper and Trapper's wife. That's what I called them, I think. They were great. I hope that they show up again. They won't, but I hope they do. No. No. They're already dead. So looking back at this episode, what was the most video game moment, do you think?
so for me, it is the photo booth. Um, because like in the Naughty Dog games, especially since I want to say like Uncharted 2,
Sure.
there have been things where it's like you're not necessarily like doing gameplay like normal gameplay, like shooting and climbing and things like that. It's like they're like quieter moments of gameplay where like you are taking photos with somebody in a photo booth, and you're controlling their faces and things like that. So like um it is definitely like an interesting I don't know, type of gameplay that Naughty Dog kind of popularized at least.
Sure. And it's a sort of thing where it's different. So it sticks with you. It
Yeah,
stands out as memorable because you're not doing that in other games. And
yeah.
and at the same time it's adding so much to those characters. Uh which is so cool. All right. How do you want to die? Not a lot of great options here. I got two. Are you ready? It's tough. Normally I give you at least three, but in this episode I'm just gonna give you two. Do you want to wander the mall forever with your true love as a zombie? Because if Ellie wasn't immune, that's probably what would have happened. They would have turned into these infected and just been in the mall. Or option two, do you want to get I forget her name. It's Melanie to eat you and spit out your bones, like in Mortal Kombat, which is
Her name
one
is
of the finishing
Melina.
moves we see. Melina. I call her Melanie. We're friends. She and I, no big deal, no big deal. But I call her Melanie. But Melina, that's one of the finishing moves we see is she eats somebody, and I want to say it's Raiden. She eats him and spits out his bones, and
Yeah,
it's so
they're
weird.
all they're all like I forget what the bone is. There might be like a thigh bone. Like there's no skull in
Oh
there.
yeah,
It's all one
yeah.
bone, like
It's
30 of them.
it's all like dog bones, what a dog would bury.
Yeah.
It's all like what a cartoon dog would bury. She spits out five of those. It's tough, but
Um.
which one of those? How would you rather
Yeah.
go?
I'm surprised you didn't bring up the guy who killed himself with the booze and the pills, and then fell through the floor.
Jeez, and it fell through the floor.
I mean, he
a
was already
sweet
dead at that point, but
a sweet OD, and your body, they steal your booze and let you fall through a floor and laugh at you, and they don't feel bad about it. Nope, that's a decent one. It's at least different. It's like the photo booth version of these these questions, but nope, we're gonna go wander the mall forever as a zombie with your true love, or be eaten by a beautiful woman and then have her spit out five bones.
I mean, I like I was gonna pick Wandering the Mall, um, mostly because like if I'm gonna spend an eternity somewhere, the mall's not such a bad place.
Man, we covered this, man. Best Buy, GameStop. That arcade is still open, and these fools left the power on, so we're good.
Like I don't know if I would have the mental capacity to do anything in the mall because I will be infected and like not aware of anything, I would think. But like still, just
You're
wandering
newly
around.
affected though, so you're still in there. You're still in there somewhere, right? So you're like saying to your fungi overlord, like, "Hey, go over that way. Go to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Spider.
Get some of that soap. Let's do it up." Great episode. So much fun.
All
I
right.
think that's it.
Did you remember
I did
a
not.
donut?
Bro,
Oh,
I'm the worst. I continue to be the worst at this. At the Take the Donut Challenge, I'm the worst. Tomorrow's my day though, because it's a weekend day, and I'll be able to sneak out and get it.
so I'm gonna take the donut. This is my last of the Aldi donuts. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or not, but this was a 28 pack. Gone through
Too
28
many.
donuts.
They're the perfect size, but that's too many.
Yeah,
That's a family
I
pack.
I will say it is much fresher than the donut I had in the last episode, which was the
The
manager
manager
special.
special. The cuffs. Get the cuff.
It was too much donut, too much donut and too dry. This one, perfect size, still kind of okay.
Perfect. Thanks,
Okay,
everybody. See you
thanks
next
for
time.
watching. Yeah, and we'll be discussing episode 8
All right. Look to the
in
future.
the next episode. So stay tuned for that.